California, land of beaches, sun, and a mountain pass that has trapped and killed travelers for nearly 2 centuries. Interstate 80 crosses Donner Pass, where storms can bury trucks and erase the road in minutes, just miles from palm trees. This place once drove pioneers to cannibalism. Today, overconfidence and a single misstep can still turn a routine drive into a fight for survival. How did this stretch of highway become California's winter death trap, and why do we keep underestimating it? The answer starts where history took a deadly turn. In the fall of 1846, 87 men, women, and children pushed west toward California, chasing the promise of fertile land and a fresh start. They chose a new route, the so-called Hastings Cutoff, a shortcut that was supposed to save weeks. It was slower and rougher, and it left them dangerously behind schedule. By late October, the wagons reached the eastern slopes of the Sierra Nevada, just as the first heavy snowstorm struck. Within hours, 5-foot drifts blocked the pass. They were trapped barely 3 miles from the summit, with the way forward buried under snow. Patrick Breen, one of the emigrants, kept a diary as the days grew shorter and colder. On November 4th, he wrote that it was snowing fast, with wind from the east. Children were crying for bread. They sent for others to come, but none returned. Food dwindled. Shelter was little more than rough cabins and tents pitched against the wind. Rescue parties tried and failed to break through the white silence. Weeks turned into months. The mountain, indifferent to hope or suffering, closed in. By the time spring melted the drifts, nearly half the group had died. The survivors endured by doing what once seemed unthinkable. The name, Donner Pass, would forever be tied to the price of one shortcut. The lesson was written in snow and silence. Underestimate this mountain, and it will decide who gets through. Donner Pass rises more than 7,000 feet above sea level, cutting a narrow corridor through the granite spine of the Sierra Nevada. The geography here is not just dramatic, it is a natural engine for chaos. Warm, moisture-heavy air from the Pacific Ocean rushes inland, climbing thousands of feet in just a few miles. As this air slams into the cold mountain wall, it is forced upward. The result is orographic lift. Clouds build, temperatures drop, and snow falls in staggering amounts, sometimes piling up several feet overnight. This is not a gentle snowfall. The summit can see entire seasons where the snowpack reaches 60 feet, with individual storms dropping several feet in a single day. Winds at the crest are equally violent. While local reports sometimes claim gusts as high as 190 miles per hour, official records at the pass itself typically top out closer to 120 or 140, still strong enough to rip roofs from buildings and send snow swirling into blinding whiteouts. The steep grades, some as much as 6% for mile after mile, combine with sudden weather flips to create a kind of natural trap. One moment the road is clear, the next visibility drops to zero, and the world vanishes in a wall of snow and wind. This is not just a mountain, it is a relentless weather machine built by geology to test anything that tries to cross. Railroad surveyors arrived at Donner Pass in the 1860s, staring up at the same granite walls that had defeated the pioneers. They brought dynamite and ambition, convinced that steel rails and stonework could outsmart the mountain. Over the next decade, crews, many of them Chinese laborers, blasted 9 tunnels through the rock and built miles of wooden snowsheds. They were desperate to keep trains moving through storms that could bury the tracks in a single night. The snowsheds stretched for miles, sometimes so thick with drifting snow that workers had to dig out the roofs before a locomotive could pass. Even so, trains were stranded, engines frozen in place, passengers waiting for rescue as blizzards howled outside. When the automobile age arrived, the challenge simply changed shape. The Lincoln Highway, then US Route 40, wound precariously along the old wagon path, notorious for its hairpin curves and sudden drop-offs. Accidents were routine. In the 1960s, engineers returned with bigger machines and bolder plans. They carved Interstate 80 directly into the mountainside, removing entire hillsides, building snow bridges and drainage tunnels, and smoothing the grade to 4 or 5%. The new freeway was supposed to be an all-weather road, a symbol of progress that could stand up to anything the Sierra threw at it. But every cut through granite, every mile of concrete, brought a kind of confidence that had not existed before. The road looked safe, ordinary, just another stretch of interstate. On paper, the danger was engineered away. The mountain, of course, had other ideas. At Kingvale, just west of Donner Pass, the fight against winter is organized like a military campaign. The maintenance station never truly sleeps. During storms, more than 100 workers rotate through 12-hour shifts, living in a dormitory built to house 160 people. Plows, blowers, and sanders are staged in long rows, engines idling, ready to roll out at a moment's notice. Radios crackle with updates from the summit and the chain control checkpoints. Every operator knows the drill: keep the lanes open, keep the trucks moving, and never let the snow get ahead of the machines. The legal rules for crossing change with the weather. Caltrans and the California Highway Patrol enforce a strict 3-tier chain law. R1 means passenger cars need chains unless they have snow tires. R2, the most common during major storms, requires chains on all vehicles except 4-wheel drive vehicles with snow tires. R3 shuts down all exceptions. Chains are mandatory no matter what you drive. When conditions reach R3, closure is often the next step. The decision to move from one level to another happens in real time, based on pavement sensors, patrol reports, and the judgment of supervisors watching the storm unfold from the Kingvale hub. The scale of the operation is enormous, but the margin for error is razor thin. One missed check at a chain station, one truck slipping past without proper equipment, and the whole system can unravel. Plows cannot get through blocked lanes. Crews are forced to stop clearing snow and start rescuing stranded drivers. In these moments, the mountain quickly reminds everyone who is really in charge. 6 o'clock on a March evening. Interstate 80 is crawling uphill, headlights smeared by swirling snow. Then, just west of Soda Springs, it happens. A semi loses grip on black ice, jackknifes across both lanes. The next car barely slows before it slides sideways. In less than 90 seconds, 26 vehicles, trucks, sedans, a minivan packed with kids are locked together in a tangled barricade of steel and glass. The sound is relentless, metal crunching, horns blaring, shouts drowned by the wind. Visibility drops to less than 50 feet. For the drivers trapped in that pileup, there is no warning, no time to react. One moment, taillights ahead. The next, nothing but white. A long-haul trucker radios for help, voice shaking as he describes the scene. It was like driving into a wall. I never saw it coming. Behind him, a rental SUV sits at an angle, hazard lights blinking. The driver, a tourist from Florida, stares at his phone. He is still holding the wheel, stunned. His navigation app had just rerouted him onto Interstate 80, promising the fastest route to Tahoe. No mention of the R2 chain control order, no warning about the storm. No chains in his trunk. Rental companies rarely provide them, and he never thought to ask. All along the line of stuck vehicles, the same pattern repeats. People trusting glowing screens over flashing highway signs. Locals grumble about California weather, but out-of-towners, especially in rental cars, are caught off guard. Some never heard of chain laws. Others assume the rules are just for trucks. In the chaos, one bad decision multiplies. A single missed chain checkpoint, a few cars on bald tires, and suddenly a routine drive becomes a survival test. The mountain does not care about optimism or schedules. In less than 2 minutes, it has made its point again. Every winter, Interstate 80 over Donner Pass reminds us, California's postcard image can vanish in a whiteout. Technology may clear the road, but overconfidence keeps it deadly. The mountain still decides who gets through. Next time you see that state line sign, ask yourself, are you really prepared?